The LA Rams completely dominated the Minnesota Vikings in the wildcard round after an eventful week of the game being moved and all the wildfires in California. The Rams could have let all this tragedy affect them as a team on the football field, but they honestly just played one of, if not the best football games of their season. The Rams defense set multiple NFL playoff records, they completely frustrated Sam Darnold and took him out of the game, and then Matthew Stafford in the offense was clicking. I don't think anyone expected the Rams to dominate like this, but they showed us how scary they can be when things are really clicking. So in this video, I want to talk all about this game, what some of the takeaways were, and then also we're going to look to Philadelphia because that is going to be one heck of a game. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so to sort of recap the game, the Rams asserted dominance early against Minnesota, starting with a commanding 7-play, 70-yard drive, capped off by a 5-yard touchdown pass from Matthew Stafford to Kyren Williams. The Rams offense found a rhythm, building on their momentum with a field goal by Joshua Carty to close the first quarter with a 10-0 lead. Meanwhile, the Vikings struggled to find traction offensively, relying on a 34-yard field goal by Will the Thrill to narrow the gap early in the second quarter. However, a costly fumble by Sam Darnold resulted in Jared Verse's 57-yard scoop and score for the Rams, extending their lead. Stafford further capitalized on the Vikings' missteps with a 13-yard touchdown pass to Davis Allen just before halftime, giving Los Angeles a large 24-3 lead. The Rams continued their efficient play in the second half with another field goal by Carty, pushing their lead to 27-3. Minnesota finally broke through late in the third quarter when Sam Darnold connected with TJ Hockenson for a 26-yard touchdown, but their attempt at a 2-point conversion failed, leaving the score at 27-9. Despite Hockenson's standout performance and the Vikings' defensive efforts led by Blake Cashman, who recorded 11 tackles and a sack, the Rams' balanced offense and dominant defense proved to be too much for Minnesota to overcome. Matthew Stafford's 2-touchdown performance and the Rams' 9 sacks underscored a dominant showing in a statement win. We should really talk more about how insane the Rams defense was in this game and how good they have been all season. They delivered a performance for the ages, completely stifling the Minnesota Vikings and setting a new season high with 9 sacks as I mentioned. 8 different Rams defenders contributed to the relentless pass rush, showcasing their depth and versatility. Byron Young, Gallimore, and Kobe Turner led the way with a bunch of sacks, and the unit also racked up 10 tackles for a loss and 12 quarterback hits, leaving Sam Darnold under constant pressure and unable to find any sort of consistent rhythm. Despite the Vikings' best efforts to scheme around the Rams' aggression, LA's defense dominated the line of scrimmage and forced crucial mistakes, including that pivotal fumble by Darnold that Jared Verse returned 57 yards for a touchdown. The Rams secondary also locked down Minnesota's receiving core, holding Justin Jefferson to just 58 yards on 8 targets. I cannot imagine how annoying this defense was to Darnold. The Rams left him visibly frustrated and completely out of sync throughout the game. From the very first series, the defensive front made their presence felt, consistently collapsing the pocket and forcing Darnold to hesitate, and unable to find his open receivers under relentless pressure, Darnold held onto the ball way too long, resulting in a season-high sack record for the Rams, and his indecisiveness was a direct result of the Rams' ability to mix their blitz packages effectively, disguising their presence until the last second and leaving Darnold guessing. Meanwhile, Matthew Stafford proved to be unshakable on offense, thriving against an aggressive Vikings blitz that he faced on nearly 70% of his dropbacks. His composure allowed him to dissect the defense with precision, connecting for 2 touchdowns and finishing with a stellar 117.7 passer rating. The Rams' defensive dominance combined with Stafford's efficiency left no doubt as Los Angeles cruised to a commanding victory. Now I want to talk about how solid this offense looked, even though Cooper Kupp has continued to not show up over the past few weeks. The offensive line really stepped up and was very critical in this W. They established control early, setting the tone for Matthew Stafford to deliver one of his sharpest performances of the entire season. And even with all those blitzes and all that pressure, the offensive line stood firm, allowing just 2 sacks. And as I said, Stafford looked composed as ever. He was 19 for 27 with 209 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. His chemistry with some of his receivers was evident, with 8 different Rams players catching passes. Tyler Higbee actually led the way with 5 catches for 58 yards, while Puka Nacua added 44 yards, and the highlight of the night came on a 13-yard touchdown pass to Davis Allen just before halftime, to cap off a half where the Rams scored 24 points, the largest halftime lead in the franchise's playoff history. And then the run game was equally effective, as Kyren Williams took on a bulk of the carries, rushing 16 times for 76 yards. Williams also contributed through the air, adding a receiving touchdown on on the game's opening drive. His dual threat presence kept the Vikings defense off balance, allowing the Rams to control the pace of the game, and the O-line's ability to open running lanes and protect their quarterback was nothing short of dominant. The line really allowed the Rams to dictate every aspect of the game. I know I'm kind of just repeating myself at this point, but from the first snap, the Rams offense clicked in all phases, and they capitalized on the opportunities created by the defense. And moving on to next week, they face a tough challenge as underdogs against Philly. In the divisional round, to pull off the upset, the Rams will need to execute a near flawless game plan against a favored Eagles team. Defensively, the Rams have to build on their performance against Minnesota by pressuring Jalen Hurts and containing his ability to extend plays. The secondary will also need to limit big plays from A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith while also trying to maintain Saquon Barkley in the run game. It is a big task, but if the defensive front can replicate its 9-sack effort and force turnovers, it could tilt the game in the Rams' favor. And then on offense, the Rams will need to control the clock with a balanced attack. Kyron Williams and the offensive line must establish a run game, while Matthew Stafford spreads the ball to Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, and hopefully Cooper Kupp. The Rams really need to hope that Higbee will be ready to play, because the offense flowed so much better when he was in. He played only 12 snaps, as I said, before suffering a chest injury in the first half and leaving the game to go to the hospital. Right now, it's questionable whether or not he'll be ready. I also think Sean McVay needs to incorporate more aggressive play calling, including play action and deep shots, to keep the Eagles defense off balance. Special teams could also play a key role in this one, with Cardi providing reliability in crucial moments. So while the Eagles are favored, the Rams' momentum, playoff experience, and disciplined game plan gives them a legitimate shot at pulling off the upset. And going back to that last win against the Vikings, here's what some of the guys had to say in their post-game interviews.
Meanwhile, Rams, they look pretty good. Stafford throws 2 touchdowns, punch his ticket to Philly in round 2. Are you surprised LA dominated Minnesota here?
Of course not. I mean, listen, Stafford and McVay in the postseason are no joke. I mean, this is now their 6th playoff game together. We can show you Stafford's, they're 5-1. The one loss was by 1 point on the road to an excellent Lions team. Stafford's numbers are insane. 111 rating, 5-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, almost 300 yards passing per game.
Yeah.
And then you pair it with a defense that yesterday I was trying to say, I'm throwing out week 18 for a lot of these teams. I think that's fair. They haven't allowed 10 points in 4 straight games.
That's really all I got for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.